Even with their strong performance, McLaren openly acknowledges a weakness with their new upgraded car that requires immediate attention and fixing. It even caused Norris to fall to a lowly 7th at Belgian GP. It seems to me like McLaren's new F1 car's weakness is finally exposed. Did McLaren sacrifice the drivers to pull off the new upgrade? What series of events led to these fundamental weaknesses of the car? If there is a weakness, how did Norris manage to be only 2/10 off F1 British GP pole? McLaren brought in a bunch of improvements to their car during the 3 races in July. This is the first big effort to upgrade the car this season. The team wants these upgrades to help them move closer to the front of the middle group, as they've only gained 17 points up until then. McLaren's main goal was to make its car more aerodynamic efficient, which will help it generate more downward force without slowing it down too much. This to improve the car's grip and stability. While it doesn't directly increase a car's top speed, it plays a crucial role in enhancing cornering ability and overall performance. The lack of aerodynamic efficiency has not only made the car slower on the track, but has also made it harder for Norris and Piastri to compete with their opponents because they don't have enough top speed. Well, their prayers were answered, and the new upgraded cars were introduced. Making good use of the latest upgrades to their advantage, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri clinched the 2nd and 3rd positions on the grid in qualifying for the British Grand Prix. At the British Grand Prix, Lando Norris secured a 2nd-place finish, while Oscar Piastri took 4th for McLaren. This outcome marked McLaren's first podium of the season and showcased their impressive performance by outpacing both Mercedes and Ferrari at Silverstone. This is a grand victory. But did these mega upgrades come at a cost? Because after their victory, strangely, everyone in the team was staying grounded and not getting overly excited. They understood that the fast-track layout at Silverstone and the cooler weather conditions were factors that worked well with the strengths of the MCL60 car. Although they didn't want to sound too negative about this outcome, the team acknowledged that there's still a significant amount of work ahead. They need to continue improving the car so that they can consistently perform well at all circuits. The McLaren team has been slowly introducing significant upgrades to its MCL60 car. Despite this, both the drivers and management have been cautious not to set overly high expectations for the recent races. Nonetheless, McLaren achieved podium finishes at the Red Bull Ring, Silverstone, and even during the sprint race in Spa. However, in the Belgian Grand Prix, Lando Norris ended up in 7th place after losing 3 positions in the initial phase due to difficulties with the medium tires. He decided to pit early for hard tires, but this strategy also didn't work out well, causing him to feel like he was at the back of the pack. And his teammate Oscar Piastri was eliminated on the first lap. As a result of a collision with Carlos Sainz at the opening corner, Oscar Piastri was forced to retire due to steering damage. During Q1, Lando Norris went off the track at turn 16, and his engineer thought his front wing might be damaged. But as Norris continued to drive, he also ended up damaging the bottom part of his car's floor. Upon closer examination in the garage, it became evident that Norris had sustained substantial damage to his car's floor. This damage left him compromised for the remainder of the mixed weather season. After Piastri was eliminated, Norris was still at 6th on first lap, but by lap 5, he had fallen out completely. It also cost him a very radio exchange to the crew to do something to help him. That means McLaren did sacrifice something very big for its special upgrades. For the team boss Stella, this was a sobering reality check. He said that the problems they had in the race showed that they needed to fix their issues right away. These problems are important and need to be fixed. Otherwise, they could affect how well they do in the next race, the Italian Grand Prix. McLaren had a weakness at Spa because they used a lot of time and effort to make big upgrades to the car. However, this decision meant that they didn't have the best kind of back wing for fast tracks. This is a problem because having the right back wing is really important for tracks like Monza. "We have obviously improved the car," said Norris, who missed out on pole position to Max Verstappen by just 0.2 of a second. "The overall speed and performance has just taken a decent step forward. But I guess if I was going to be negative, there's definitely going to be some tracks that we're going to struggle more at. Our weaknesses are still the same and quite weak. What weaknesses is Norris referring to? Is that the reason for a sweary meltdown in the radio? I'll tell you what, even though McLaren has taken steps to improve the aerodynamic efficiency issues with its initial car design, they're still grappling with challenges related to the car's balance, its ability to navigate turns at low speed, and a lack of stability in the rear of the car. These problems lead to difficulties in maintaining a good pace during races, often resulting in the tires overheating. Well, what does Norris think about this change? You'll be delighted, because this was his response. Norris said, "It's like 70% not fixed, 30% fixed, just by making the car quicker, adding load, and having a better performance." Regarding McLaren's race pace, McLaren team principal Stella added, "While we have improved the car in terms of aerodynamic efficiency, we haven't made yet large enough improvements in terms of elements that can condition and can improve the race pace." He also said, "I don't think there's a correlation between the fact that we were focused on the upgrades and then the decisions on setup that you make once you're here in Spa. The real correlation is the fact that because we were very busy on working on other things, we didn't have the time to work on low-drag rear wings. While some think it was simply a bad decision to use a too big rear wing, others like to think that this upgrade is a gamble rather than a weakness where the upgrade is specially for wet races. They argue that had it continued to rain, we may have seen a charge to the podium. And it does level with what Stella said. There's definitely a pattern. High-speed corners, cold conditions, soft tires, and, by the way, the same compound, C3. So we like these conditions. Our car likes it. The rear end kinda finds naturally some good grip, which we may be missing over continuous laps, or when it's hotter. So conditions come to our favor. McLaren had openly acknowledged their susceptibility in dry weather because of their focus on generating high downforce, which resulted in them not fine-tuning their low-drag setup during their recent upgrades. So, what do you think? Is that upgrade a blessing rather than a curse? Or was McLaren's new F1 car's weakness finally exposed? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys soon.